This year is so broken. See, usually I'd come on here and tell you the three things you need to know before deciding whether you should buy the current iPhone 17 now, or whether you should wait for the iPhone 18 coming later this year. How urgently do you need it? How long will you have to wait for it? And is there anything really worth waiting for? And unless money was no object, I tell you to hold on to what you currently have for as long as you possibly can, then upgrade to the best possible version you can, and enjoy the hell out of it until you absolutely have to upgrade again, because there'll always be something new and something next. Except this year is just broken. This year, rumor has it there won't be a new iPhone 18 in the fall. And as for something next, well, hold on to your turtlenecks. First, we have to talk about something E. iPhone 17e, as in exciting or exhausting, depending on what side of the new internals, old externals line you fall on. And that could hit apple.com/newsroom as soon as the next month or few, with maybe a tweaked design, dynamic island instead of a notch, the vanilla Apple A19 chipset, and whatever everyone and their accessory vendor has been hoping beyond hope for, MagSafe, depending on what Apple's ops team, and not just those of us who cosplay them on the internet, can fit into the actual bill of materials, of course. But here's the thing. Sure, yes, fine, kinda. You can save a couple $100 by going E, but only if you're willing to almost certainly lose an ultra-wide camera on the back, the really cool center stage camera on the front, and the 120 megahertz refresh rate that's finally spread across the whole lineup, except for the E. And if you don't just want a thin client version, and Apple doesn't just bump the base storage SKU, when you equalize on 256 or 512 gigabytes, you're only saving $100 anyway. Something a trade-in or subsidy or installment option often obsoletes these days, which is why the Pro is the best seller despite what its full MSRP would have you believe. And if you're planning on keeping your next iPhone for another 3 to 5 years, the E isn't just a great option anyway, which at this point in the video would bring us to the fall and the iPhone 18, but no, not gonna happen. Hard pass. Apple is apparently think differenting and breaking the traditional mostly monolithic new version launch cycle into two parts across the next 2 years. First, in the fall, sounds like we're still going to get the iPhone 18 Pro and Max, which, if those really are the majority of the market and are making all the money, still kind of makes the sense that does. Burgundy, coffee, and purple are the rumored frontrunners for the hot new color, and there's an outside chance Face ID will melt away inside the display, leaving a smaller or no dynamic island behind, maybe a punch hole. There will also almost certainly be a C1X or C2 Apple homespun modem, replacing the probably still more globally compatible, but definitely more power-hungry Qualcomm kit, and an Apple A20 Pro chipset on TSMC's 2nm process, presuming everyone's PIM particles are firing properly, along with an even better performance efficiency and a battery that could get ever so slightly physically embiggened and maybe better-ened as well. The main camera could have a variable aperture, adding a couple more O's to how Apple pronounces Pro, but otherwise similar if not the same design and base features. So unless you hate the dynamic island and have just been waiting for Apple to kill it so you could watch it die, or same for the Qualcomm modem, or you really want that battery boost or whatever new main camera sensor Apple manages to cram in there, along with a secret wish list item like 8K video, #finally, there really isn't too much reason to wait, except for a phone, a tablet, a hinge. Are you getting it yet? Not three more things, one more thing. This fall, Apple will reinvent the foldable. I mean, ish. Yes, the company that's been exploring hinged iPhones since at least the 2011s, but didn't think the technology was out of elementary school until very recently, is now widely expected to ship its first folding, or rather unfolding iPhone this year. And I've been using various incarnations of the Pixel Fold for my work phone for the last few years, so I have a lot to say about this. A whole nother video's worth to say coming your way soon. But suffice it to say, you will be sacrificing function for form. Apple has supposedly figured out with their display vendor, Samsung, how to decrease the crease. But like with this year's iPhone Air and pretty much every other foldable on the market, once you go ultra thin, you do cause a few features to just pop out of the casing. You can, of course, split the z-axis of batteries across the greater surface area, but not so much that of camera systems or Face ID arrays. And if rumors are true, Apple is going to go for more of a squatter and wider Surface phone style passport aspect ratio anyway, instead of something that simply doubles the current form factor and folds it. This is still the one I'm personally waiting for. So if you're like me, you'll be waiting like me. And given what pricing is typically like for foldables, like plus 1,000 if we're lucky, you'll also be saving every penny between now and then for it, like me. But if neither the Pro nor Fold will do you how you do, then you'll need to wait even longer, like 5 to 6 months even longer, like for iPhone 18 launch part 2. Yes, the spring slot previously sometimes reserved for new colorways or an SE or nowadays just an E subline will apparently now get the baseline, the iPhone 18 non-Pro, non-Fold, non-modifier, maybe with more RAM, maybe with more megapixels, almost assuredly with different colorways, but otherwise pretty much what you'd expect, just on a pushed out timeline, and likely the same for the iPhone Air, iPhone 18 Air, iPhone Air 2, the new iPhone Air, whatever they end up calling it, which may have a second camera thrown in just so that more people don't throw it out. But after 2 generations of iPhone mini and iPhone Plus, it's unclear if Apple's gotten any closer to figuring out what a large enough chunk of the mainstream market actually wants from an expanded iPhone lineup beyond the Pro. But it's also unclear what anyone in that market will really get for waiting another whole year for the next revision of it or the regular iPhone to come out. So like with the Pro, wait for a sweetheart deal and then pounce at will, because that's the way all of this really works. Cost of a new device, including opportunity cost, whatever else you could be spending that money on in the meantime, minus any carrier incentives or trade-in/resale, mitigated by the value you would get from having that new device in your hand right now on the daily. And if your current iPhone is still fine, that's fine. But if getting an assorted flavor of iPhone will make your life significantly better right now, today, and every day from now until the fall or the next spring, and for the next few or several years beyond that, pull a Nike on that upgrade and just do it. But if not, put your money in a sock or bank or index fund or pretty much anything not equivalent to the post-rug pull Ponzi schemes and chill out until the iPhone 18. And then come back here for that video.